a statement win for the Boston Celtics.
Absolutely.
32-point victory over the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm Sierra Goodwill here with Mike Petraglia and Josue Pavon. We all saw this coming, right? After the Celtics have lost 6 of their last 8, 3-game losing streak, and then all of a sudden they put it all together against the Lakers with LeBron James, Anthony Davis in TD Garden. How surprised were you at this blowout win?
The thing that stuck out to me, guys, the most is the Celtics were down 8-0 right out of the chute.
Right.
And how many people in the building were going, here we go again.
Yep.
The bigs are going to absolutely dominate the Celtics,
right.
Anthony Davis and company, and the Celtics would have no answer. And even Brad Stevens took note of that early on, and he said, they come at you fast and furious, and you know that they're going to attack at the rim. The difference here on Monday night was that the Celtics adjusted, got at the rim. Gordon Hayward made a big three-pointer early to kind of control the tempo, steady the ship, if you will. Then a big drive to the basket, and then it felt like the Celtics, after taking that big punch in the first 2 minutes of the game, settled in.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I remember telling Sierra before, pregame on Twitter, I was saying, you know what, this is going to happen. They'll be down by like 10 or 11. They'll come back. They'll probably be down again. So I'm waiting for the other one to happen, after the 8-point deficit, and then it didn't. The Celtics just kept the pressure on them, and that was something that Brad Stevens talked about, was discussed heavily during film session as the team went through this morning, and he talked about how that pretty much made all the difference. Good, solid 45 minutes, talking about closing out on guys, what they had to do defensively, what they had to do in the sense of putting that extra step, that effort that we haven't seen for the last week or so. They snapped the 3-game skid.
And scoring came from everywhere. I mean, Kemba Walker, Jason Tatum, and Jaylen Brown all over 20 points. Enes Kanter had a double-double. He seems like lately he's been a walking double-double, but against this matchup, he was excellent. Who were your X factors in Monday night's win?
You just said it.
Yeah,
for me, it's Kanter.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I noticed that about midway through the second quarter or so. It wasn't more so the offense was obviously he finished with 18 in the first half. It was, to me, what he was doing defensively. He was all over the place. He got a block on LeBron James. His positioning was on point. The pick-and-roll defense, which we talked about a few nights ago, was killing the Celtics Saturday night after the blowout loss, or the loss to the Phoenix Suns. And I just thought he was just so important for this team on both ends, of course. Offensive rebounds. He got a lot of good looks. Wasn't afraid to go up, against JaVale McGee and the Lakers big men. Instead of, I saw a couple of opportunities where he could have easily passed it out to an open teammate, but instead he wanted that contact. He embraced it, and in turn, he put up a big game.
I really thought that his work at the offensive rim, the rebounds, is really what makes the difference for the Celtics, especially off the bench. And we have to start looking at Enes Kanter as, after Kemba Walker, maybe the most important signing that the Celtics had this past offseason in terms of what it's done to the bench. And the other thing that's really, really important to note, and Brad Stevens made note of this after the game, they are now back to a full rotation. They were able to shorten their bench the way they really, really want to. And I think if the Celtic, when you see this Celtic rotation out here, the starting 5 plus the bench, you start to see what Danny Ainge and Brad Stevens had in mind when they put this roster together back in August.
Absolutely. That's what Brad Stevens, I think, that's what frustrated him the most, when critics or people out there saying that, hey, this team, they're not looking so great. He's like, we haven't even been healthy yet. Like, we were looking for a significant span of games where we can say, okay, we're at full strength. Let's see, whatever, X amount of games, 10 games. Let's see how we look after that, 10, 12 games. And for me, I think that's between now and All-Star Weekend.
This Garden Report is brought to you by Car Shield. Go to 800-CAR-6000 and mention code GARDEN, or go to carshield.com and use code GARDEN for 10% off. That's carshield.com. Use code GARDEN. For all the rest of our Celtics content, head to our website at clnsmedia.com and subscribe to our YouTube channel at CLNS Media.